My code editor began suggesting messages from someone I didn't know. I was in VS Code, on Windows 11, doing a hotfix for a healthcare client. It was past midnight and I had Slack on Do Not Disturb, Chrome with maybe 6 tabs, GitHub open to the repos actions page, and CloudWatch logs for the worker service rolling in a separate monitor. The grey ghost X popped in under my cursor as I wrote a commit message hotfix, skip index rebuild on patient merge. Then, in lighter grey, like Copilot whispering, it extended my line, please don't run this at 2.17R. I don't use R. I don't sign my commits. And I wasn't enabling Copilot. I had it installed, sure, but it was disabled for that workspace. I even hovered over the suggestion. It wasn't tagged as Copilot or IntelliSense. It just sat there, prediction as annotation. I deleted it, recorded a quick clip on the Xbox game bar, and pushed the fix to a branch. 8 minutes later, a GitHub notification popped up in Slack anyway, Ghost pushed to main. The commit message was mine, minus the weird sign-off. The timestamp was 2:17. If you don't know, when a GitHub account is deleted, past commits from that email show up under a user literally named Ghost. It's an unsettling but normal thing. The disturbing bit was that the Ghost had pushed right now. I clicked through. The diff was clean. One file. The exact fix I had staged locally, but I hadn't force pushed and there was no PR. The committer field used in email at our org's domain. The author was Ghost. There was no associated PR actions run that matched what I was expecting. The workflow history showed a run but marked with workflow run from a ref that didn't exist. I pinged our lead in a private Slack thread. No answer. I dug into the commit metadata. Under verified, it said unverified. No GPG signature. The machine name in the actions log for the downstream deployed job was a self-hosted runner I had named a week ago. The job ran, then cancelled itself with skip by pattern at 2:17. I went back to VS Code. In the auth service file, I typed a comment to myself to keep track / who are you. The editor suggested a continuation before I finished the question mark / someone who keeps the queue from backing up when you sleep. I stopped typing. I looked at the bottom bar. No live share. No remote session. Wi-Fi was still on, but I pulled the cable from the USB-C dock anyway. I took another screen recording of the suggestion because it felt like proof I might need when I slept and woke up thinking I dreamed it. I disabled Copilot completely. Reloaded the window. The suggestion stopped. I felt something like relief. Then Slack lit up again with a message from the GitHub bot in the deploy channel. Ghost commented on commit update 123, we agreed not to run it overnight. No one had agreed to anything with a deleted user. I clicked the comment. It was on a line in the same file where I typed the question. It had appended a single extra comment at the end of the block / not after 2:17. I searched the repo history for 2:17 OR. No hits. I searched the whole org. A few hits and logs from a March incident when a contractor set up a batch job at 2 a.m. There was a name from an old thread, a contractor named Ray, mentioned in passing, whose access had been to provision last year. Her commits, when I clicked them, all attributed to github.com/ghost. She deleted her account when she left. In her last PR, which was still merged, there were 10 comments from her that read like someone talking to themselves as they worked alone at night. This is safer if you watch the queue. Don't let the indexer wake up with you. Don't run the batch at 17. The team had joked at the time about superstition in code comments. Then they merged it and moved on. CloudWatch chimed a new line. The worker logs wrote, predict 500 in worker -3 at 2:40. There was no predict in our app. It was a word I'd never seen in our format. I clicked the log stream and followed it. Upstairs in the service logs, exactly at 2:40, spike of 500 hit worker -3 and cleared. The line that had said predict rotated out. I pulled the code. Grep for predict, for the exact lowercase punctuation for the hash. Nothing. I checked the log shipper config. We use FluentBit. Its container hadn't been restarted in days. I downloaded a subset of that group. The predict line wasn't in the export anymore. I opened the Windows event viewer because that is what you do when you're not in control. Under Windows Logs application, there was an entry from Git that it had started a credential manager operation at 2:17, even though I was absolutely certain I hadn't run a fetch. The source was Git credential manager with a name for level entry, not an error tied to my user profile. Chrome chimed. A new sign-in on GitHub from Windows. I clicked. It said, we noticed a sign-in from this device, and listed my workstation. The time, a few minutes ago. The map was vague, just my city. The IP matched my ISP. I went back to Slack and DM'd the one engineer who would still be awake in Tokyo. I asked about Ray. He replied an hour later she worked nights. She stuck a comment in a bash script that freaked people out. We deleted it. Why? I typed because something is writing commit comments from her, and then I deleted it. I asked instead, do we have any GitHub apps that commit on our behalf? He said, just renovate, and a custom one for indexing, then, after a pause, but we killed the indexer when the keys started looping at night. I made a local test repo. No GitHub remote. I pulled the cable again. I created a file and typed, if you were going to type now. Nothing. I turned off Wi-Fi. Save the file. Nothing. Silence. The kind where you hear your own fans and think about the fact that you buy metal and electricity entrusted to keep your life. I turned Wi-Fi back on. Slack flared blue. The GitHub bot pinged me personally with a review request. Ghost requested your review on Night Notes. We don't have a repo called Night Notes. I tapped it on my phone because I didn't want to let the desktop be the thing that opened it. A new private repository had appeared under our org, with only one watcher, one collaborator. There was a single PR. The title was Write It Down. The body was empty. The diff added a markdown file, note/2-17 MD. It contained 2 lines. My code editor began suggesting messages from someone I didn't know. Oh. I closed the phone and opened my laptop and opened it again because that's what you do when you want to reset a reality that came in through the screen. The PR stayed there like a hand pressed against glass. Comments were disabled. The check showed a job I didn't recognize called Ghost Check that had passed at 2:17. I didn't merge it. I couldn't even request changes. I stayed until the screen dimmed and then woke again. Every few minutes, the timestamp on the PR updated as if someone was amending it, always sliding forward to a few seconds ago. I'm saying this out loud because I haven't found the setting or the app or the webhook that explains any of it. The code, the logs, the times. They line up too cleanly with decisions I made in a room by myself. And as I've been recording, the grey text in VS Code under my cursor just suggested a new line in this file I'm not pushing anywhere. Don't stop at the end.